Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm JJ the Bearded Bookworm. Now, as you can see, I'm in my car. I have been making plenty of excuses about why I have not been making videos, one of which is I'm working a lot. I've started offering lots of overtime at work, so I took it. Now I live 45 minutes away from work, and so on top of the 11, 12-hour days that I'm working, I also have a 45-minute drive back and forth. So usually by the time I get home from work, there is zero time to film. So I decided to take advantage of that 45-minute drive and start filming that way. Now, because I've been away, I've got this massive backlog of videos that I need to film and put out. So hopefully between now and then this may become a regular format that we do, just so I can continue to feel productive, because I feel embarrassed that the last video that I made was my September TBR and this video is the October TBR. Alright, so first book on the October TBR is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. Book 1 in the Wheel of Time. I'm finally getting to it. I'm just about finished up with Cosmere 2020, and so it's time to start the next big journey. Now, in January of this year, the Wheel of Time turned 30, and I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to start reading it. You know, it's turning 30 this year. I'm turning 30 this year. Perfect. So here I was thinking I was going to be poetic of, like, you know, the paperback edition of this book came out in October of 1990. I came out in October of 1990. Perfect. Not the case. However, we're still going to start this journey. I'm super excited. I know very broad strokes, you know, little tidbits here and there throughout, but I mean, it's 15 books long, so I don't even know where those pieces necessarily fit. I do know this first book pulls heavily from The Lord of the Rings, but good news, I've only read the first book of Lord of the Rings, so who knows? But I've watched the movies. They're fantastic. Alright, so the second book on the October TBR is where we kind of start diving a little bit into the spooky or thematic, like everybody else is doing for October, and that is Salems Lot by Stephen King. Now, if you've been following me for a little bit, you're going to be thinking to yourself, you know, JJ, every month you say you're going to read a Stephen King book, and every month you don't do it. That is true. This month, however, I am, because this book has vampires in it, and I love vampires and monsters and everything like that. Which is weird, because growing up, I never watched scary movies, I didn't read scary books, no scary TV shows, anything like that. Like, my mom hated them, not for any, like, specific reason, other than she doesn't like feeling scared, I guess, is what the reasoning behind that. So, Knickknack's Corner, they're hosting a read-along for Salem's Lot. I'm super excited. It's the first one that I'm actually participating in with them, and it's really cool. They've got every week, they've got it broken down, and then there's questions, kind of like discussion points involved with each one of them. So I'm going to put a link to that down below. Go ahead and follow, hop in if you know, thinking that's something that you do want to read as well. Also, I'm excited because the Dark Tower that I read earlier this year, apparently Salem's Lot introduces some characters that do have heavy influence on the series overall, and so I'm also really excited for that. Alright, next book is Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. I more than likely will never not read a Brandon Sanderson book a month, probably until I'm completely caught up and read all the backlog at this point. I don't know. I was surprised I was able to read Words of Radiance and Edge Dancer in September. Really helped me get back on track with the schedule. I was already grossly behind, and now I'm probably barely going to catch up. I've got reviews for Bands of Mourning, Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, and Edge Dancer coming out this month as well. So check back in here on Mondays, kind of keeping that Mistborn Monday theme going, and check out those reviews coming. Oh, also, Dawn Shard comes out this month. The novella that takes place between Oathbringer and Rhythm of War that comes out in November. So, more than likely, as soon as that comes out, everything's getting dropped so I can read that real quick as well. The next book is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. Now, I had a electronic ARC from NetGalley, and it was all fine and dandy. However, it got downloaded onto my phone. And to my knowledge, and I may be completely wrong here, once you've downloaded it once on NetGalley on a device, you're not able to re-download it onto a different device or anything like that. So now I'm reading this 880-page book on my phone. And across the board, I've tried this multiple times, I cannot read ebooks on my phone. A Kindle, no problem. It's a little more in the correct proportions or whatever to be able to read it. So ultimately, I got about 100 pages in, and I just had to stop because I just could not, for whatever reason, that format on my phone just wasn't helping. So I do have the physical copy now that it's out, and so I'm going to be reading that this month as well. I've seen a lot of kind of mixed reviews, mostly good, but it's, from what I've read so far, it is this first contact with an alien species, and Christopher Paolini does not shy away from, I guess, hard sci-fi, where it's just very sciencey. He's got a lot of references and things like that of, and my uneducated butt can only pick up on some of them. I'm sure there's plenty more that I just don't know. But, there's references to scientists, things like that, these different principles and things like that that they mention in the book that reference real life scientists, physicists, what have you. So these next books on the TBR are kind of the extracurricular books. Hopefully I'll be able to get to them this month, but if not, the other ones that I've mentioned so far are definitely the priority here. But the one that's kind of playing in between here, and I feel horrible about it, is Nightmare by Chad Nicholas. Chad sent this to me over a month ago, and once again, tried reading it on my phone. It just was not working for me at all. Got it now on my Kindle, and it is so much better. I've only read the first couple chapters, and that's actually the first actual horror book that I've read, and it is already creeping me out. I love it. Now, Chad has a discount going on right now for the ebook of his book. It comes out on Tuesday, October 6th. I definitely recommend it. I've only read the first little bit, and already it seems great. It's got this creepy town. It feels like there's this secret going on that nobody talks about, and everybody's pretty traumatized by, in general, this entire town, on an individual basis, people have different levels of trauma regarding this. It involves a scarecrow. My theory is that either people become possessed by a scarecrow, or there's this demigod scarecrow type entity where they almost sacrifice people to. But I don't know. You've got zero to go on other than reading that first couple chapters. But I'm really excited to read that one as well. That one might move up a lot quicker, especially because it comes out on Tuesday. And I'll definitely, as soon as I'm done, I'm getting a review out for it because I'm loving it. Apparently, I'm a big horror fan. Then the last book in this spooky extracurricular TBR section is a classic reimagined, and that is the Jane Austen Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Apparently there's this whole section of like Abraham Lincoln vampire hunters. There's a bunch of these Jane Austen books that have been like reimagined with horror creatures in them. I'm intrigued to say the least. I haven't read any Jane Austen books. I might have watched some Jane Austen movies, but I don't recall, so I don't actually know anything about this book other than Mr. Darcy's in it, I think, still. I don't know, maybe he's a zombie. Who knows? But I started this month when I was trying to make up my TBR, because last month I had 8 books. This month I was keeping it at 6, and then Don Shard showed up with an not official, but definitely coming out in October, and then felt weird that there was only Salems Lot on my October like spooky TBR, so I added those in as well, just as like I said, if I get through these other books, I'm picking those up, finishing those. But let me know down in the comments what you're reading this month. Are you reading like spooky books? Are you reading thrillers? Or are you just, not participating in that way at all and just reading your normal books? Let me know. That's all I got for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm JJ, the Bearded Bookworm, here on a impromptu drive video, and I'll see you next time.